Greetings everyone and welcome to this 10 video series. My name is Vyom Khanna and I am delighted to be with you. Over the following 10 videos, you will understand the Internet of Things, Arduino, Node MCU, and real-life applications. Today we will start off with an elementary level, and gradually as we move on, things will start to get a little complex. So make sure that you stick around until the end and appreciate what technology offers. Now, without further ado, let's start with the first topic, the concept of IoT and how it can be used in our daily lives. First, let's try to grasp and understand what IoT truly is. It has become such a popular buzzword that practically everybody talks about it, without genuinely realizing its true meaning. IoT, full form Internet of Things, can be thought of as a network of hundreds and thousands of electronic objects around us. These objects comprise gazillions of wires, batteries, sensors, and other monitors for one sole purpose: storing, collecting, and exchanging it. But the fascinating part of IoT is not how this data is collected, but how it is actually exchanged or transported remotely. With the first few videos, we will understand how all the components work and how the data is stored. As we move on, especially towards the end, we will better understand how information is exchanged over the internet. It is a truly fascinating concept, so be sure not to miss it. The cool thing about IoT is that it is such a diverse concept that it is impossible to limit its scope. IoT projects can literally be anything. It could be a shoe embedded with a temperature sensing tracker which checks how warm your toes are, or even a boat with a sensor underneath that tracks the salt level of the water. More practically, it could even be an oven that can tell you the precise temperature of your food while it's being cooked. As you can see, the possibilities of devices on the Internet of Things are truly unlimited, so there is endless room to explore. But before we can do that, we must build our basics to have a firm footing in the field. Hearing the examples outlined above, you may wonder if those ideas are actually achievable. To create a boat that checks the salt level of the water body as it sails, where do you even start? Apart from the actual boat itself, you would need some way to collect the data, store it temporarily, and perhaps send it to a database. Although these steps sound like something only genius engineers could achieve, modern technology has bridged this gap. Even students in the comfort of their own home can build an IoT project. All this at the cost of some time, basic knowledge, and tiny components to actually get the job done. Now that components like processors, wires, and sensors have gotten cheaper, achieving the task becomes more manageable. More powerful computers enable us to churn and process vast amounts of data, which was impossible in the recent past. In fact, data processing and storage were one of the significant obstacles faced by NASA as they tried to get humanity on the moon. In fact, they could only use 4 kilobytes, let me repeat, kilobytes, in their computers at that time. Thankfully, they got the job done. But nowadays, where even the most basic computers have 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is 20 crore times the storage NASA had, think of where we can reach. Now, the physical and digital world are one, and we can tap into their limitless opportunities to achieve our goals. I hope you all have got a fair idea about the potential of the Internet of Things. Now let us move on to some common but exciting examples of how IoT can be integrated into our daily lives. First, let's talk about smart homes. You may already say that I've seen houses with CCTV cameras and Alexas in them already. What else could be done? Well, listen to this. Imagine waking up, not by an alarm blaring from your phone, but to the smell of coffee, and light coming in your window from a curtain being drawn back, and a gentle steering massage or vibration from your mattress. You wake up rested because a sleep sensor has made sure not to rouse you during a round of comfortable sleep. Once you rise, your voice assistant tells you the weather for the day, makes clothing recommendations based on your forecast, and announces your schedule. Your iRobot has quietly cleaned the room while you slept. You use the washroom, and an intelligent toilet sensor checks your urine for health indicators, flagging any early disease detection to both you and your physician. You've run out of milk for your cereal. Still, your smart fridge has already sent an electronic order for milk to an online grocery store that automatically charges your card. They then deliver the milk by drone to your front door. You can turn on the lights, adjust the temperature, and ensure the door is locked through your voice instructions given to your connected home. You won't even need a key to enter and exit your home. With facial recognition technology, a scan will let you in and lock up behind you. When you leave the house, a sensor communicates to a thermostat. The temperature resets to the desired inactive state, and the light shuts off automatically to conserve energy. Shifting into the real world now, you already live in a smart home filled with intelligent appliances. Some of these IoT technologies are already being widely adopted, and some are still in the design phase. Still, there is a chance they will all be a reality in the future. How did you find that example above? Crazy, right? How technology can be seamlessly integrated into our daily lives? In fact, the sample we delved into above may not even be so futuristic. In a few years, even under a decade, IoT technology may become widespread enough for that vision to become a reality. Now let's move on to a more formal concept where we explore the concrete advantages that IoT technology offers. Let's get started. Firstly, there is a productivity improvement. Thanks to IoT solutions, mundane tasks can be done automatically. Human resources may be transferred to more complex tasks that require personal skills, especially out of the box thinking. This way, we can reduce the number of workers, which results in reduced costs for the business operation. Just imagine the millions of people employed in tedious, mundane, and repetitive jobs in the mega factories of the world. Jobs like painting cars, canning ice cream, and wrapping goods in coverings can all be replaced with robots. You may already be asking how this connects to IoT, so listen ahead. When robots are employed in factories to perform mundane tasks, they achieve their goals by using sensors to monitor and understand what is happening around them. They use this to make necessary changes based on their input. These changes can be recorded in a database to keep track of the factory's productivity. For example, imagine a tomato producing company with thousands of harvested tomatoes moving along a conveyor belt. And imagine that the worker's job is to count the number of tomatoes while removing the ones that are unripe or small in size. A robot can be employed as a substitute for the worker for even greater accuracy and precision. This robot could have a mounted camera that uses an ultrasonic sensor to detect the passage of tomatoes on the conveyor belt. Every time it records a tomato, it adds a number to a list that contains the total number of tomatoes produced by the factory that day. It's as simple as that. Notice how the robot satisfies all the criteria to enter the Internet of Things. It understands its surroundings with the help of a sensor. It transports the information gained remotely to a database, where it changes the value of a list. So simple, yet so powerful, right? Another significant benefit offered by the interconnection of intelligent devices is automated control over multiple operation areas, including, among others, inventory management. This one is relatively straightforward. IoT enables you to know what is happening without you actually having to be there, and it does so using the power of sensors. Another advantage is improved customer retention. The collection of user-specific data achieved using smart devices also helps businesses better understand customers' expectations and behavior. IoT also improves customer service by facilitating follow-ups after sales, such as automatic tracking and reminding the customers about required maintenance, ending warranty periods, etc. Now, this is an interesting one. The process sounds straightforward, where the device simply collects user data and informs the user at the correct time. However, although it is easy implementable, there are significant ethical issues. Just because something can be done doesn't mean it should be done. For example, collecting user data is a massive encroachment on their privacy, and using their data to increase your own profits is exceptionally unethical. While it is not as bad when reminding users about their warranty, it worsens. Collecting users' fragile and confidential search history and private details only to sell this information to advertisement companies is wrong on so many levels. However, that's where the level has reached nowadays. I hope this teaches you an essential lesson on the ethical implications of technology. Some things are better left undone when their costs outweigh their benefits. Great. Now that we have explored the numerous advantages of IoT technology, it is only fitting to delve into its disadvantages. Every coin has two sides, and nothing is without its disadvantages. So let's explore the serious drawbacks of IoT technology. The first drawback is security flaws. Insufficient security measures are the most widespread drawback that hinders IoT development. The fear of data leaks is always present because intelligent devices collect and transmit confidential information. This confidential information can lead to drastic consequences if revealed. Given the secrecy and importance of the information, you would naturally think that there would be barriers and adequate security. However, numerous IoT solutions do not have proper anti-tampering safeguards or encryption protocols. Failure to ensure sufficient data protection may lead to costly, disastrous, and even tragic consequences. Identity thefts and loss of corporate secrets are just some of the harsh effects. That's why the development and implementation of IoT solutions in businesses must be performed by professionals who can ensure that the installed hardware and software systems have no weak spots and are well protected from any hacking attempts. The second disadvantage is the high cost. Suppose you want to implement an IoT system in your home, school, or another public place. In that case, you will need to create a vast and intricate network of intelligent devices connected by wires and power sources. As you will learn throughout these videos, one IoT component used by itself is almost powerless. But when used together with all sorts of different parts, components, sensors, and microcontrollers, IoT devices truly flourish. But when building such an intricate system of microcontrollers, connecting wires and power sources, you realize that an IoT system raises a high cost, not only in price, but also in time. Moreover, the maintenance of an IoT system is also quite challenging. Suppose you want to modify your IoT system. You will have to make both software and hardware changes, which are very challenging. Another disadvantage is the dependence on the power supply. Like ultrasonic sensors, relay modules, and microcontrollers, IoT components are delicate. They are tinier than you think and are easily prone to breakage. So, you need to be extremely careful in their handling. Still, that is not the most pressing issue about their delicate nature. They are incredibly prone to power surges. This means that when a large amount of electricity is given to them or a sudden change in electricity output, they get damaged and spoiled. So there needs to be a safeguard against these power surges for the IoT devices. This means that a UPS or some other planned infrastructure must be provided. Lastly, the only disadvantage left is the skill requirement. Obviously, being an advanced technology, IoT requires special skills to be operated. Because it is such a specialized field of technology, people need to be explicitly trained or knowledgeable in the field of IoT to correctly use it. A physical engineer with no prior experience with the Internet of Things will not be able to operate IoT devices. They need to be appropriately trained in IoT. But for the viewers listening, don't worry. Although it is a unique skill, there is no way you will not learn it by the end of the course. As long as you keep focus and carefully analyze each component in the Internet of Things, you will master it. Now, we've delved extremely deep into both the advantages and the disadvantages of IoT technology. By now, you should be well versed in IoT technology, its applications, future, benefits, and even weaknesses. This will provide a perfect foundation when learning how to implement IoT in your life. So let us get started. When it comes to actually using IoT in your life, you need to be aware of the numerous components which comprise the famous Internet of Things. So let's get started with that. Here are four fundamental components of the IoT system, which tell us how IoT works. Number 1. Sensors and devices. First, sensors and devices help collect minute data from the surrounding environment. This data can vary in complexity, from a single temperature monitoring sensor to a full complex video feed. A device can have multiple sensors to bundle together to do more than sense things. For example, our phone is a device that has numerous sensors, such as a GPS, accelerometer, and a camera. The most rudimentary step will always be picking and collecting data from the surrounding environment through a standalone sensor or multiple devices. Throughout these videos, we will explore numerous sensors like ultrasonic, temperature, and humidity sensors. Notice that these sensors need to be connected to a brain component. That is where the microcontroller comes in. We will explore the beauty of the IoT and sensors using the Arduino Uno. Next, that collected data is sent to a cloud infrastructure, but it obviously needs a medium for transport. How can the information go from one place to another? Well, the sensors can be connected to the cloud through various mediums of communication and transport, such as cellular networks, satellite networks, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and so much more. Every option we choose has some specifications and trade-offs between power consumption, range, and bandwidth, so selecting the best connectivity option for our IoT system is essential. Throughout these videos, we will be using numerous types of jumper wires to transmit information from the sensor to the microcontrollers. We will even use Wi-Fi to send the data into a database in the latter portion. Once the data is collected and reaches the cloud, the software processes the acquired data. This can range from something straightforward, such as checking that the temperature reading on devices such as AC or heaters is within an acceptable range. It can sometimes also be very complex, such as identifying objects, for example, intruders in your house, using computer vision through a video camera. But there might be a situation when the user interaction is required. For example, when the temperature is too high, or if there is an intruder in your house, that's where the user comes into the picture. We will explore the nuances of data processing when we delve into Arduino syntax, which is its primary programming language. Lastly, the information is available to the end user in some way. This can be achieved by triggering alarms on their phones or notifying them through texts or emails. Sometimes, users might also have an interface through which they can actively check in onto their IoT system. For example, if a user has a camera installed in his house, he might want to check the video recordings and feeds through a web server. However, the user's actions are rarely foolproof. Depending on the IoT application and complexity of the system, the user may also be able to perform an action that could backfire and negatively affect the system. For example, suppose a user wrongly detects some changes in the refrigerator. Then, they can remotely adjust the temperature via their phone, which may increase the temperature too much and spoil the food inside the fridge. There are also cases where some actions are performed automatically by the system. The entire IoT system can automatically adjust the settings by establishing and implementing predefined rules. The best part is that no human has to play any part. For example, in a home security system, if any intruders are sensed, the system can generate an alert not only to the house owner but also to the concerned authorities. We will use LED lights, 16 by 12 LCD panels, and even a whole database on our computer to visualize data in an exemplary user interface. Now, as one of the final topics of the first video, let us go through some of my favorites, and in my opinion, the coolest IoT devices. I feel like these devices utilize IoT in such a creative way that they absolutely deserve to be mentioned. First, there is VR. This advanced fall detection system uses four-dimensional radar imaging sensors to monitor the movement and safety of individuals at home or in a senior living facility. VR uses radar to eliminate the need for wearable technology, buttons, or cameras to detect falls or home intrusions. This device can also identify the location, posture, and vital signs. VR Care monitors 24/7, detecting both major and minor falls in all lighting conditions and even through Steam, allowing Alexa to instantly call for assistance. The traditional way of tracking and monitoring people requires either cameras or wearables. VR technology is a single sensor that can be mounted discreetly and unobtrusively. It does not use a camera, so there are no pictures, and it can be used in privacy sensitive areas. VR sensors gather data and identify trends as well as real time alerting. Thereby, they enable preventative and better care, as well as drastically minimize claims and costs. VR sensors are technically mini radars on a chip. Smaller than a coin, they detect radio waves and therefore the presence and movement of people across a 10-meter area. Because they don't rely on light and optics like cameras do, they can see through the walls, smoke, and darkness. VR sensors don't produce an ordinary picture. Instead, you'll see people on a grid, and VR can track their breathing as well as if they're sitting, standing, or laying down. By monitoring breathing, VR can send an alert if someone stops breathing. By monitoring whether you're laying down, VR can know if someone took a fall. My second favorite IoT device is CypherSkin. CypherSkin is a high-tech company that revolutionizes the way data on the human body or any other physical object is collected, reported, analyzed, and monitored. CypherSkin captures vital data within and around any object and translates it into actionable insights that users can trust. CypherSkin has developed a groundbreaking technology, which is a wearable mesh that enables sensors to contour around the whole body and to pin multiple measurements over a long period of time without any interruption. Cypher sensors provide 3D motion tracking and automated assessments, enabling physical therapists, trainers, and athletes to build programs from rehab to high intensity workouts. Cypher's BioSleeve monitors motion without cameras, as well as variations in biometrics, including heart rate and dynamic oxygen saturation. Their brilliant technology wraps around human and material bodies and collects gapless data to build a comprehensive picture of the body's behavior that delivers accurate insights. Cypher sensors create a network that wirelessly integrates with garments. The mesh collects upwards of trillions of data points and sends them to Cypher's digital mirror app, which models the body's position in 3 dimensions. All in all, it's an insanely convenient and slick way to monitor yourself by wearing a comfortable mesh pad. This brings me to my last and definitely one of the most innovative examples of IoT devices today, the WAGS Smart Collar for dogs. The WAGS Smart Collar has precise GPS tracking that allows owners to track and control the location of their dog. With virtual fencing zones, owners can easily draw a customized geofence area and keep their dog within the limits of that unique zone through humane vibration and sensory deterrence. WAGS uses patent pending invisible leashing technology to help you keep your dog from running away while off the leash. If your dog is ever lost, a quick view in the app will show his or her exact location. The collar tracks your dog's fitness and activity levels by measuring distance and location walked, along with calories burnt. Using intel like breed, size, weight, and more, owners can set activity goals for their dogs to hit. With combined vet records, barking alerts, companion time tracking, ambient temperature sensors, and more, you can have one place to manage the overall well being of your dog. Isn't it so cool how brands like WAGs make use of the wonders of IoT to create such phenomenal and, dare I say, a bit crazy devices. Well, I hope you enjoyed the range of devices which I shared with you. That brings us to the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Stay tuned, give positive feedback, and gear up for the next episode, where we explore microcontrollers, which are the brains of the IoT systems. For now though, bye, and see you soon.